Hello, everyone. Hello. Good to see you again in a new episode. Let me just grab here a little bit of music. I don't know if you are hearing my voice. Hello. I just want to confirm before making another mistake. Horacio, good morning from Los Angeles. Hello, Horacio. Thanks for coming. Welcome to this new episode. I don't know if you are hearing my voice. If you could confirm just before starting, um, would be great. And I don't know if I'm having some kind of. I'm not using YouTube directly. I'm using another tool. It's called StreamYard. So I don't know if the comments are like having a lag or kind of delay. All good. Sir Serhi, sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name correctly. Hello from Ukraine. Hi, wow, Ukraine. Awesome, man. Thanks for coming. Hope you're good. Okay. Uh, Rana, hey, from Egypt. Wow, that's amazing. Thanks for coming. All right, everyone. So let's get started. My name is Pete, and this is If and Tips podcast. Welcome one more time. And before getting started, let me say um, my apologize because in the previous episode, I don't know if you were there, but in the previous episode, I didn't connect my microphone correctly. Well, it was connected, but the problem is that in settings, I didn't verify that it was actually using my microphone. And instead, I was using my MacBook microphone, and the sound was terrible. But I never saw that because I'm using this headset. So the headset is connected here, and I'm hearing what the microphone is captain, but not in the actual streaming. So I'm sorry for that. The audio, it's not, not enjoyable, but it's definitely um, low quality compared to uh, this microphone. Also, I am suggesting. Well, I got some suggestions for other friends that watch my previous episode, and I added background music. I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if it's distracting. If it's distracting, please let me know. But I just put it there, like instead of having a quiet silence if I am not talking. But let me know if it you think is okay. Let's move forward. Okay, so in this episode, I I would like to give you more context about something I have done during the last couple of weeks. As I mentioned before, um, being a content creator uh, in software development is quite complicated, especially if you are alone, because you can just either code, do researching, or making videos, but but you cannot do the three at the same time unless you have a team. And I don't have a team. Um, why I don't have a team? Well, because my content is free, totally free. I'm not, uh, you know, literally, I'm not generating money doing this. I will explain the reasons later, but it's quite complicated. I don't want to make it, boring with those things. But I'm not. I'm doing literally this for just love of art, you know, and well, I'm doing this myself, and well, this is what I had. Then I decide to make this kind of live sessions to share what I'm doing. So and give me some time for me to code things and making apps. I would like to make apps. I would like to make my own platform, my own website in using Swift technology. But I'm still attached with this um, content creator thing. But later, I would like to make written articles and things like that. But anyway, we are here, and what I have done during the last 2 weeks is um, working with macros, playing around. You oh, by the way, let me see another comment. Buenos dias from Hudson, Texas. Good morning from Houston, from Ben. Oh, thank you for coming, Ben. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I was saying I am been working with Swift macros. I don't know why, but I love the playing around with languages. It's interesting, and later I will talk more about it. But one of the main topics of this channel is providing to you an exploration of Swift language. In this case, Swift is just an excuse to explore Swift language, the power of a language, right? And one of those things is our Swift macros. Macros are, like I said in the previous episode, um, a way to you to improve the language, right? If you have a piece of code that is duplicated or repetitive, a ceremony, uh, well, those kind of things could be solved with one Swift macro that you can generate by your own, right? And you can make it simpler, simple, like the example I showed you in the previous episode. By the way, in the previous episode, I explored the introduction of Swift macros. What are the types of Swift macros? Because there are many. They're freestanding, they're attached, and they're attached. There are other subtypes. If you want, if you're totally new with that, I would recommend you to watch that video after this live session, of course. I will try just to make some, refreshers. Don't worry. But if you want more, stay in depth with the introduction, I will suggest you, and I put it in the link in the description for you. So, okay, let me share my screen. Share screen. By the way, how are you, everyone? How do you feel? What are you expecting from this episode? Are you really excited about learning what I have done? Let me just grab a glass of water. Ah, I think you're seeing my screen right now. I hope so. So you are seeing here, just for reference, I'm using Xcode Beta 5, and I don't remember. Yeah, I haven't downloaded the latest version, but I think it shouldn't be a problem if you have the version 6. Okay, so let me go back a little bit, and then I was um, exploring ideas. If you remember in the previous episode, we started with a binary string. What I'm doing with binary string, it's just an experiment for you to understand Swift macros, but it's not something that you're gonna use in your daily work, right? So here I have so just a little bit of documentation. So you have an integer literal, and you are creating a binary string literally. I don't know how to explain it. Like this one, for example, I'm putting here 10, and then if we explore it, yeah, we got this binary string here. I mean, yeah, it's just to give you an idea what we are doing here. We are getting the interliteral from the argument, and we are just grabbing that number and convert it. I mean, that's it. Um, but then I thought, wouldn't be great if I can create something that is actually usable, right? In a real world application. And then I look at my repositories. Let me grab here this thing. I open my repo here and I said, okay, what? I mean, I'm not like the guy that is making so much apps, but I said, okay, the things I have done recently, let me explore it what would be something that it's a boilerplate in my code. And then I remember, oh, recently I made the videos about TCA, and I said, okay, let's grab something from here. By the way, yeah, if you want um, to learn more about the composable architecture, I will leave this link right here for you. But anyway, I said, okay, let me let me see what I am um, doing in this example. And then I remember, oh, I remember in this example, I have a list of products. And in order to display something when I don't have, when I'm working in local and not actually making real calls, I remember, oh, I have this product struct that is modeling. Oh, I don't know if you are seeing. Let me make this bigger. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. I'm creating this product item, but then if I want to show something in the screen in the meantime, well, I need to create this sample item, right? So this sample item is just to show something in the preview. And look at that. I mean, we have to create this manually, right? So put in title, description, image string, etc. And then I got the idea. Wouldn't it be great if one Swift macro could generate all this code for free? Oh, that would be a great idea, I thought. And that would be pretty easy to implement, I thought. And that's not right. When you are starting thinking about one idea, app idea, I mean, you maybe have the happy path, but then you need to cover the edge cases, and one thing comes, and then another, and then another, and well, here I am. Uh, excuse me. Here I am today showing you what I have done. So that's the basically goal for this Swift macro that I'm generating. You know, you attach this macro is an attach macro, and remember that those macros are for this type of things. For example, we have a struct here, and we have, I don't know, example, whatever, and we have I don't know, something item one. I'll call it item one, and it's an int. Then I have something like item two that is a string, right? And then if I want to create, the sample, I need to, write it down sample and create that computed property. Well, I don't have to do it anymore because I can use sample builder, number of items, and I can provide, I don't know, I want three. Then if I expand the code, look at that. It's that simple. Is there? Oh no. What's going on here? Okay. Something definitely is not right. But hopefully I have an emergency thing here. Maybe I did a mistake in one of those branches. Let me quickly change to, oh my God. Let me go here. Actually, let me go to main directly. Hey, the things happening in real when we are live. There you go. Should be fine. Okay, like I said, let me write this down again. Struct example. I think that the screen is good enough for you, right? If the letter is not is so tiny, let me know, please. So bar item one end, and then bar item two is a string, right? And then we said, okay, we just put bow. Okay, please work this time. What? What is going on? Something is not working as expected today. Uh, no, this is not something from. Let me close Xcode for sure. There should be something wrong with the Xcode. Sometimes when I'm, oh, come on, when I'm changing branches, let me see if this is working. There we go. Yeah, I knew it. I was like, woof, almost, destroying this thing. Um, definitely, this is a bug. You have seen a real bug right now. Well, okay. My reputation is okay now. Let me grab this thing again. So I didn't wanted to bring this right now, but let me go back to the previous example because it's the fast. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we are generating this sample, right? And as you can see, I generated 10 items right away. Okay, if I and you have seen a video that I made a few days ago, but it's just 20 and so on. Even if I feel lucky today, I can generate 100. See what happened. Yep, it's working. Yeah, it's pretty cool. 100 items right away in just one click. But let's do it to 10. I don't want to, make Xcode explode. That's a whole point of this, okay? And I have done quite a few iterations over this um, sample builder. And one of those, for example, was to add in support to many, 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 let's say, first party items, first party types like your UID, string, int, bool, data, date, etc. Uh, Many of those. I mean, list could be infinite, but I just added the most common things so far. Also, I added support to custom types, for example. So, for example, here uh, I have I have here a list of a product. Oops. Yeah, I have a struct with products. Oh, look at that! I think I have another product here. Yep, I have another product. Let me hide this guy for now. Okay. Yeah, we have here, for example, product that has int and a string, and uh, these are like I'm calling them primitive types because they're all like the first party, right? But for example, what happened if you add a custom type like this one? Well, If you expand it, what I'm creating is, assuming that that custom type is providing their own uh, sample implementation. And for example, here I'm attaching also sample builder to product, and then well, I'm just grabbing this in every single custom type that I'm using, and I'm generating this. And I'm hearing some people saying, "Oh, but you're generating this code, and we have here what we have here. We have a force and wrap. Come on, Pete, are you crazy?" I am, but the thing is that the goal of this sample builder is to use this sample in reviews or unit test, not in production. So this sample data is useless in production for because there's not making sense. You are getting your data from a web service or anything that you have, right? So, but not from the sample. A sample is just for you to start right away with this data and not spending time in your business logic and not making sample data. That's the goal. Okay, so having that in mind, I said, why not using the same sample from other custom types and generating this thing. Okay, um, and so on. And for example, here I can generate, I don't know, an order item, and look that here I have an array of data. And if I explore it, instead of using the first item, here I'm using the whole product sample right away here. What do you think about this? Do you think is cool? Do you think you could use it in your daily work? That's basically the goal with this work. By the way, Victor Tejada, hello, is waving his hand. Okay, I think you get the idea of what I want to do with this sample builder. Okay, now let me close this. Let me go back to the branch I planning to show you today, and you will see like the iteration I got from for with this example with this project. Oh no, no, it was in the store. There you go. There you go. There you go. Okay. Now let's go back to the example. Okay. Now that you understand the goal of this feature, let's explore a little bit the code, the internal code. So, like I said, here is the public definition of the macro. Okay, it's attached. Is an attached macro, and remember, it's attached because it's attached to this structure in this case. Okay, and if we go back here, it's a member macro. That means we are generating a new member inside of this struct, and the new member is sample computed property. Okay, there are others like peer, for example, that you could generate side by side another struct or another thing side by side of the structure you are attaching. Okay, and there are others like member attribute, etc. So, but in this case, we are creating a new member, and we are specifying names here because Swift needs to understand. Okay, you are generating new code. I need to tell me what will be the new names inside of this macro, and the new name is sample. Okay, You can also use another thing, for example, like orbit. You can use like arbitrary that basically will say, okay, everything that is new in this code, I will take it, whatever. But just be careful with that because that will drop your performance. Okay. So arbitrary should be just only if you don't know what will be the names of the new members in your macro. Okay. Otherwise, if you already know that you're going to generate one specific member, like this example, like this sample, sorry, put it explicitly. Okay. And uh, the definition like that is working like a function, and well, that's about the public definition. Okay, this is what the developer will see when they are using your macro or this macro in particular. Now, what about the implementation? Okay, let's put this here. This was the first idea, the first draft I wrote down, sorry. And I will show you this just because it's faster, it's easiest way to start. And I would recommend to start if you are totally new with Swift macros. I will recommend you this approach, but you will see in a moment that we will iterate over it. So what I'm doing in this macro. So first off, this SampleBuilder macro is a member macro, like we said earlier. So it's a protocol, okay? And this is requesting to implement this expansion, okay? Expansion is literally the term of the actual code that you're going to generate, okay? So in other words, let me go back just again quickly to this. Um, I want to, yeah. For example, what we generate here, again, I don't know why it's going on with this, but anyway, forget it. um the expansion, it's grabbing all that information that you generate in your macro, and it will paste the new code right away before the actual compilation. Okay, so in other words, it's like that code being there all the time. Okay, that's how this macros, the macros are using something called some plugins called compiler plugins. There are like compilers, a pre-compilation of your code. Okay, and then once that pre-compilation is done, is replacing the macro and putting what you implemented in that macro. Okay, the same with this guy here. So you are actually seeing this because, in fact, even that this code is here for Swift is replacing this code, and what Swift is seeing is this string literal. Swift is not seeing this uh, hatch binary string anymore. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, that's why the expansion concept means. Okay, and then okay, don't get overwhelmed of all these things. Let's see quickly. Let me start with context. Context has a few things that you can use. Actually, if you watch the WWDC videos about write Swift macros, you will see the purpose of context. Context, let me see. Has a few things like, for example, if you want to add diagnostic, that literally means analyzing your inputs and saying, okay, this should throw an error or maybe should throw a warning in next code. Okay, that's how you will use it. You will generate diagnostics. Okay, or if, for example, you can indicate something to the user. Okay, there's a mistake in this line of code. Okay, you can use location. Or also, if you want to generate a unique name in your for any of the variables, for example, you can use make unique names. Yeah? That's about it. In this example, I think I haven't used context yet, but I will use it in a for sure for diagnostic. Uh, node node is basically the attribute syntax, or in other words, you can grab what is in the attach macro. Okay, and one important thing before continue. Sorry, something one mistake I made when I was using this is like, oh, okay, let me see. Let me verify, for example, if this sample, I don't know, is conforming. Let's say uh, string. I don't know, string protocol. I mean, putting the string protocol here. Let me create something because oh, come on, there we go, something like that. Okay, so you will say normally, okay, um, let's work with this sample macro and identify, for example, if the struct is conforming my protocol. Well, let me tell you that is not possible. Why? Because again, your code is not compiled yet. Your code or your logic does not even exist. Okay? What you are or you have right now is just a bunch of text. That's it. And and you have access only to this information. Everything here is not accessible through the macro. Okay? Please keep that in mind because yeah, what you can grab this in a text note or a note from Apple from Mac, and that's what you got. That's the only input you'll have. So anything about, oh, but I will find if the example is attached is a conforming protocol, I can read external files or things like that. No, that's not possible. You will get an error because the macros are encapsulated in a sandbox, so you don't have access to any additional resource, and you shouldn't do it because I mean the performance here is important because you're generating code on the fly. So you know, just think about it. So then, that being said, let me remove this and let me go back. So okay, we use Node to grab the information from the uh, from the attach macro. You And what about the declaration? Well, it's here, the declaration, right? And the declaration is kind of I'm not going to say generic, yeah, but you need to identify what kind of declaration is this, okay? You can have a function declaration, an enum declaration, struct, class, etc. In our case, what we care is if this thing is a struct or not, okay? So for that, we grab our declaration and we said, and we converted has struct declaration syntax. And let me just point out here that you are not managing classes. All those things are structs. Where you're actually are converting. I mean, you cannot use the classic conversion, like I don't know. Excuse me. As for example, struct declaration, right? Um, it's recommended actually to use this expression. So to generate grab the information and convert this declaration into struct declaration syntax. So once you got it, and all this is coming from this library, Swift syntax, that is coming for free in when you are creating a macro for Mexico. Okay, and you can create your own things directly if using Swift syntax. Okay, there are other things here that are pretty cool. Anyway, you grab your struct, or you identify that you want to struct declaration, and if it's not true, then you will throw an error. In this case, saying, "Oh, okay, this is not a struct," and you can see this right away. For example, class, or I will put macro, and you can see here right now, this macro can only be applied to struct, and this is coming from this not a struct. This macro can only be applied to struct. So this is the fastest way to generate errors if you need to provide also context to the developer instead of just throwing a random error. Okay, you're guiding the developer saying, okay, you should use this only macros in struct. Sorry. Okay, let me remove this. Yeah, I'm showing you also. This is the fastest way to, again, just generating an enum with error, custom string convertible, and that's it, right? In this example, have just three examples. It's not a string, or if the argument that you are putting in the sample, the number of item parameters is not greater than 0, or if for some reason the type you're providing is not supported. Okay. And well, by the way, these are, like I said before, those are the primitive types that I'm supporting. Let's go back to the beginning. Okay, then we grab the struct, we get the number of items. If you are curious about it, well, it's a kind of code here. Um, we are exploring what is the structure to actually get or how to read the argument in the macro. And you will see all of this. I mean, you will see how you make that conclusion. Let me just show this in a moment. And well, this is because, well, if this is not happening, this is because something is wrong with the compiler, because we declare the sample builder has you know as a function, kind of function. So that parameter should be there. Otherwise, is something really, really wrong. Okay. So don't worry about everything detail here. I will tell you how to read this actually. Okay, we grab the numbers. If this is less than 0, we throw an error, and then we generate the code. And here I'm using multi-line string, right? Literally creating, okay, static bar sample, opening an array. I am validating, for example, the members in the struct if they are stored properties. Okay. If for some reason this conversion, for example, we are here identifying if there are variables, okay, but could be functions or other things. We want to ignore that. If we have functions, for example, all of this will be nil, okay. If we got variables, okay, we need to identify if they are stored properties, because could be computer properties or private properties or something that maybe will not be has part of a init definition. Okay. So, and well, I don't want to boring you, but this is kind of the logic to get to verify if this is a stored property. So basically, everything that is only not having any additional accessor, or using will set or this set. Other than that, we return false because there's no other valid accessors. And also, identifying, for example, if variable is public or is private, right? It's just grabbing the modifiers are like the keywords, for example, static, let, uh, private, etc. Everything that is attached to the variable, okay, it's coming from this property called modifier. Okay. Now let's go back here. Okay, we grab where are the valid members, and then we do a loop. We then want to generate the parentheses, and then we grab the variable, the actual variable. We grab where is the identifier declaration that contains the name of the variable and the type of the variable. Okay, and here this is what we are doing. We are generating. We are getting the type. If not, well, this is should be a compiler bug, whatever. And then we are, like on a string, we are generating the parameter items, and we are generating one list of, a, one iteration of parameter list, and then we will repeat all of this depending of the number of items. Yeah, we are here generating init and parameter list. Okay, and what is inside of here? Yeah, don't worry about this. I already cleaned up this mess. You will see a lot of mess here. Um, well, basically, all this code is identifying, okay, it's an array. No. Okay, it's a simple type. Yeah. Okay. And then, regardless of being an array or not, okay, is this a primitive type? Um, let's see. Let's find out. So, like I said, this is, supporting the strings. So the row value will generate something, and then we will put the text, column, and the actual default value here. Um, if not, then we will use or will assume that this is a custom type, and we will use the sample first and force on wrap. Okay, and in case of arrays, we are using sample. And if this is not happening, okay, the type is not supported. If it's not the last parameter, we are adding a comma, okay, because the last parameter shouldn't have a comma, and then we return that. Okay, yeah, it's quite messy code, right? And then finally we close this. Okay. Oh, I remember why my code is not working, I think. Anyway, you will see that, okay, it's quite a code here. And I don't know you, but you know, working with string literals is not something that I really love. I prefer a much better way or structured way to do this, right? Because when I don't know, you need to think about it. Because, for example, if we go to the test, probably this test will not work. Let me see. Yeah, there are issues here. But yeah, we haven't talked about test. But the way you can test here is using string literals again, and you need to grab what is your original code, and you will expect something generated. Like I said, this is what you will see, but Swift will see this. Okay, Swift will not see your attach macro, but instead will see a sample generated here. Okay, but the thing is that if one little space is different, from the original, from what you are expecting, this test will not work. Okay, so that's why having this, I mean, if you had one little space like this, your test will fail. Even that everything else is fine, but your test will fail because it's um, the test is not expecting that additional space. So what I did to solve this, okay, let's close this again. Let's go here and let's jump again to get out. Okay, it's now open again. Save macro. Do you have any questions so far? Let me just quickly watch the the session in YouTube directly. Yep. Okay. All good. So now that we are here, let me go back again to what we had in the expansion. So first, yeah, we're still having this definition, uh, getting declaration, getting struct declaration, getting the number of items. Okay, and look at that. We have a different way to fix the issue. We are getting the valid parameter list here, and we are generating the sample code. Okay, how are we first generating the valid parameters this time? Well, first, we are getting the store properties like you saw earlier, but just using a more elegant way. Uh, uh, and also, well, in this case, I'm adding also support for init, right? Because so far in those examples that you saw earlier are just we are just assuming the member using the member wise initializer. Okay, but if there's a custom initializer, we are uh, grabbing the most customizable initializer. Okay, so for example, if you have two initializers and one has one parameter, but you have another with three parameters, we will select the second one, just because, well, you have a better way to customize it. Okay, we are verifying. Okay, in it, is there any member available? If not, that means we can use the member was initializer. Okay. And yeah, we grab the identifier, the type, and this time we are generating a tuple with the identifier name and the type. And later, and also later, I generated my own struct just to identify, grab the identifier name and identifier type instead of just having two tuples with this 0, 1. And then we grab the largest parameter in this in this definition. Okay, so then we yeah, we generate the parameters from the init, and then if we go back to the beginning, we now have this function to generate sample called syntax, and we are providing the valid parameters and we are providing the number of items. Okay, and here we have sample elements. We are generating sample arrays of elements, and you will see now excuse me, that we are using all those types. Where are those types coming from? Well, all of those are coming from Swift syntax. Remember? Remember the library we are using at the beginning? Okay. All of those are coming from there. Oops. Now the question, hey Pete, but how did you explore this and you find out how what kind of things you can use to generate that? Well, first, that there is documentation about Swift syntax, but I also use my intuition to find out what are those types. And for that, let me go back here. Let me go back to the first example. Um, I will I will do this. Let me go back to the beginning, and I will put a breakpoint here. Then I will go back here, and I will run this test. Let's see what happened. Okay, let's print struct declaration. Look, we got all this information from the console. Oops. Now, what I'm doing is going here, creating a new document, and I am pasting. Let me make the text bigger. I'm pasting the declaration right here, and then we can see. Okay, here we have, for example, we have attributes. You can actually, instead of using node, you can use in your own the declaration directly to find out the number of items, for example. And you have, for example, also the member block with all the members. There is having variable x of type int and y of type a type string that is, identifying has a is having a name of identifier string. So this is generated for free from Swift syntax. What I did was, let me go back. Okay, what will be the generated code in this case? This thing. This is what we want. Okay, let's put it here. Okay, and let's run this again. There you go. Up. It's a lot of code, but it's straightforward to use it. Mm. Yeah, we have now a lot of a lot of code here because we are generating. We included the sample uh, value here, and as you can see, we have x, y, the item one, and the two is sample. Okay, and this sample has an accessor that is a code block syntax, and it's having a list of items here, and this list of items are a tuple element list. That is basically an initializer uh, that is providing a parameter x with value 0 and so on, so on. For example, y is providing a string element of hello world and so on. That's the way how I got all that information, and I brought that to generate. Instead of using string literals, I am using the Swift syntax objects directly, and it's way faster. And not way faster, it's way easier to make to scale your implementation. If you're making something easy, like binary string, for example, in my previous episode, maybe you don't need this. But if you are making a pretty strong uh, uh, builder, maybe this kind of approaches will be better. Now, let me finally go here. Um, Let me go to the sample code and look. We are generating variable declaration syntax. Let me go back here. Variable declaration syntax. Look at that. This is what we want to generate, right? Is a number is member declaration list item number 2 and it has modifier list. Yeah, we have it. We have a binding keyword. It should be var, right? Binding keyword. Yep, there is var. We have a pattern binding syntax that is having an identifier sample, pattern index, binding syntax, identifier sample, type annotation. I think you get the idea. We are basically copy pasting the structure we want and generating all this code um, that maybe could scare to you at the beginning if you're watching it for the first time. But once you get the idea, definitely this will be a much better approach. So I would recommend you again to use Swift syntax if it's beyond of something really quick to implement. Okay. And well, that's kind of my this implementation is going so far. Uh, and lastly, uh, I think this is if you need to practice test-driven development, for sure, making macros is one great way to do it. The testing is absolutely, I love it, and it's like a peace for my mind to having all those tests and then making refactors easier and and seeing that okay, if I run this, the code will be there. Will the test should pass? Otherwise, I'm making a mistake. Just let me discard the change here and let's run the test. Yep. And what we are generating here, for example, we are generating basic int string. We are testing the support types. There are a lot. It's a bunch of code that you don't want to touch. Custom structs, like we saw earlier, arrays. Excuse me. This is an array, for example, of a primitive type. Also, ignoring static properties because maybe it is a variable, but it's not part of the init declaration definition. So in this case, we are ignoring this and we are just generating x and y. And we have also, for example, private variables here. We have this computer property that shouldn't be part of the init, and so on. And let's see, yeah, we're just getting again x and y, and everything else is ignored. We are also, like I said, testing custom parameters, custom inits, and another one with many uh, with yeah with two uh, parameters, well, more than one. And yeah, this one with two initializers, for example. This one with two, and this one has four. So I just decided to use the most customizable init here. And support for dictionaries. Yeah, here we have dictionary, and here we are generating a dictionary. As example, multiple dictionary properties. Yeah, we have it. Quite noisy code here, and that's it. What I got so far in terms of the main branch. Um, what are coming? Well, let me open this. I have my own thing here in oops, in Notion. So this is what I have done so far. You know, like you saw in the test. Uh, I am right now working supporting enums. Enums are challenging because are quite different from classes and structs. And well, that requires their own dedication. But I'm about to finish that work, or at least the first iteration of that. What is coming? Well, nested arrays, nested dictionaries, um, also generating the data, right? Because right now it's just a static. It's just a zero generating in zero, generating hello world string. But the idea is to provide you a way to customize what kind of strings you want to generate, what kind of ints, and so on. So as much as I can provide, okay? Because I mean, this will not be 100% accurate for all needs, but maybe a 90 will be enough. And for that, I'm using something called Fakery. Well, I'm trying to use it, but I need to prepare a generator for that. Add diagnostics for errors and warnings, because right now we're just throwing errors, but I would like to customize that. And well, in some cases, for example, in enums, right now, I'm planning not to use the number of items and just attaching the sample builder, but just guiding if you are not providing the parameters well, and you are using a struct, well, you need to use it. Or if you are using nums and you are using the number of items parameter, maybe it will not be required. I don't know. Sorry. I'm in that kind of conversation with myself right now. But once all those things are done, I'm planning to release the first version of this Swift macro. I'm expecting, hopefully, I mean, in the worst case, maybe one more month. But in the best case, could be 2 weeks. Let's see. I mean, I have a full time job, so I don't know. So, okay, let me finalize just reading some comments from the audience. We have a comment from Nikolai. Hi, do you know if we have an option to attach macro to external extensions? Let me read it again. If we have an option to attach macros, for example, I want to build color macro that will generate extension to your color and color. Uh Good question. So, if I'm understanding, what you want to generate is like, let me go to Xcode. If I'm understanding your question, you want to generate something like color, but that will expand to something like, uh, I don't know, something like that, something here. Is that what you want to generate? I'm thinking, uh, what will be, or what will be your use case? Because uh, the color, well, the freestanding macros are can work in two ways. One has expressions, like this guy here, that is, literally an expression. But also, if you are working with SwiftUI, you can generate preview, for example. Oopsie, generating everything. Yeah, and you can put a view here, right? And that's because it is generating a declaration. Okay. Mm, not sure. I mean, that will depends of what do you want to do. If you don't want to attach it um, to a specific item, I don't know. But yeah, send me a message uh, by Twitter or something, and I can help you. Maybe just to understand your question better, Nikolai. Okie dokie. So I think that's about it for this episode, guys. So I don't know if you have any additional question here, but that's what I wanted to give you today. Um, and well, the thing is, maybe you have another idea. You could, for example, I don't know, create a macro to generate a publisher for a variable. In all the boilerplate code there is creating a publisher could be generated. I don't know, creating your own codable macro to generate something specific. I don't know. The sky is the limit. And the great thing is that things like that wouldn't be possible. Uh, I mean, if you wanted to create something like this, you will have to um, pass through all the Swift evolution process, and maybe we wouldn't have enough time to review all the uh, proposals in Swift.org. So this is for you to generate your own macro right off the bat, and make your code life easier. So I hope you have learned something cool today. So that's about it. That's about it. Sorry. Um, Let me know in the comments what would like to learn in the next episode. I'm glad to uh, read your comments. And lastly, I am planning next week to talk something different. Like, for example, I have an idea like how to become a senior engineer, or talking about my journey as an engineer. Um, I I have many things to share. I know that you love coding, right? Um, but sometimes things like that could, I don't know, hearing my experience could help you to make you a better engineer, or avoiding the mistakes I had during my journey. That will be a good one. So, thank you, Nikolai, again for your comment, and thank you everyone for your comments. So remember, follow me on Twitter, linking, and every other platform. Excuse me, I'm been talking a lot. Excuse me. Yeah, you will see here Swift and tips, right? Well, that's all my social media. Actually, let me just point it out here quickly to share my screen right now. Again, yeah, I mean, just in case, this is my Twitter account, Swift and Tips. You can find me as Pedro Rojas or Pedro Rojas Law in linking. And if you don't like Twitter, you can use Mastodon. You can find me here also, Swift and Tips. Or if you Google me, you can find Swift and Tips everywhere. And of course, Swift and Tips. There you go. A YouTube channel, of course. Well, excuse me. I cannot talk anymore. All right. That's about it, everyone. So thank you so much and have a great day.